I'm Joanne Avery, Superintendent of Anderson School District 4. We have 6 schools here in Anderson 4 and student population of about 2,900. A very successful year, even in the wake of a school shooting, which deeply impacted our entire school district. But we have such passionate educators and resilient educators and wonderful leaders and great school board that, we remained focused while we were handling this horrific tragedy. Folks remained focused on what we're here for, and that is the student, and to ensure that our students are all college and career ready. So I'm very proud of the work. Some things that I like to brag about. Pendleton High School was ranked number 21 of best high schools in South Carolina with the U.S. World and News Report this year. And that ranking is pretty significant because it has to do with your graduation rate, your performance on test schools, but also the college course passing rate. So we were the highest ranking high school in Anderson, Oconee, and Pickens, and we're very proud of that. We've been on that list in prior years, but we were just really excited to see that some of the things that we're doing are really making a difference for our future graduates. We also had the highest SAT score as a school district in Anderson County, and we were the second highest ACT score for a school district in Anderson, Oconee, and Pickens. So those are just a couple of the indicators that begin to show that great things are happening in Anderson 4. And I think it has to do with our focus on being one team and our focus on that we really believe in our young people, and we believe that the unimaginable can happen. It just takes us bringing our very best to work every day, bringing our A game, and providing that exceptional learning experience for our students. A couple of things that I'd like to share that are pretty exciting as well. We were one of 5 school districts in South Carolina that were selected to participate in the Lead Hire Initiative, which is a national program where they select school districts that have things in place, safety nets in place, things that would help them be successful in expanding the number of students that participate in advanced placement courses. And it's very important, we talk a lot about rigor, we talk a lot about exposing students to higher level type coursework. Students that actually participate or take an advanced placement course are more likely to go to college by about 20-25%, but those students that take an AP class and then are successful in passing that AP class in high school have about a 35% chance of being successful in graduating college. So there is a push and a need to expose more students who have the ability to do so. So Lead Hire comes in and helps you to identify those typically overlooked students that would have the characteristics and the teacher recommendation to be supportive in an AP class. And so in this past year, we worked very closely with representatives from that program, and we identified 81 students that could be successful in an AP class who probably never dreamed of taking an AP class. Students of poverty, students of color are typically those that are overlooked. So this year we're starting out with what we call a boot camp, ramp up, and for any student taking AP, but it really, the idea came out of these 81 students that are a little bit nervous about taking something that they never even dreamed they could be successful in. And so they'll start school a little early with getting their feet wet with the expectations and learning how study habits and things that will help them be successful. And then throughout the year that there are things in place to help them be successful. So with our identification rate of 81, we are now among the 1% of high schools in the nation that have AP equity. And that's huge. So kudos to the staff and the teachers and the teacher leaders that really bought into the importance of this initiative, and we're excited to see these students be successful. We continue to focus on our one-to-one initiative, which is really putting a device, a computer, in the hands of every student. We started the rollout about 2 years ago. In certain grade levels, and this August in grades 2 through 12 every student will have a personal device. We use Chromebooks. These devices don't replace good teaching. It is to supplement. And it is a way, we talk a lot about the SAMR model of instruction, where you really elevate how you engage students with technology, with, the very top level of really making it transformational to where students can use technology to do things that were unconceivable without technology, and to really take the learning beyond the classroom and to really focus on those critical thinking, collaborative, creativity skills that are so important in the world of work today. But the idea is to equip the classroom with supplemental resources that will really elevate the learning experience for our students. We continue to be very focused on the health of our students, and we've been on this journey since I've been here since 2006. But in the last 4 years, we really elevated our efforts to where we tried to implement national guidelines, which are tough to do, to be honest with you. And we are now in our second round of being successful of achieving, all 6 schools, achieving the National Alliance for Healthier Generation Schools Bronze Level Healthy Schools Award. And we are the only school district in the state of South Carolina that has all of its schools that have achieved a Healthy Schools National Award. So we're very proud of that. It's a community effort. It takes students, it takes parents, it takes leadership, it takes teachers, but we believe that a healthy student is a better student. And we believe that a healthy teacher is a better teacher. And we believe that a healthy leader is a better leader. And it's important when you think about the statistics that if a child, when they are 11 and they're overweight or obese, that they have a 90% chance that as an adult they will have weight issues. To me, that speaks volumes, and we owe it to this generation coming up to model the habits to where they have a healthy and successful and hopefully a longer life. So we will continue that effort. We've got some incentives to encourage our leaders to be healthy leaders. We've got incentives in place for our employees as well as our students. So I'm really excited about that. A spin-off from just the healthy schools is really, there will be a more deliberate conversation about the importance of physical movement in instruction. Again, the research is very clear. It's very straightforward. If you look at, the brain scans that are very popular and shared, the research that's been done by a gentleman, I can't think of his name. You have to cut that too. But it's very clear that when a student or a person is sitting, the stimulation in the brain becomes very limited. And when you get an adult or a person, student up and moving and they're engaged, the stimulation in the brain, there's just all kinds of synapses going off. And that's important because that reaction to movement is what causes retention and focus and concentration, which impacts student learning and achievement. So it's very clear that if we can get our students physically involved in the instruction and learning, that we will elevate their student achievement and their focus and concentration and retention. So this year, we're going to do some incentives. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to work with teachers on ways how they can increase physical movement. We've also applied to be one of the 100 schools in South Carolina that will, in grades pre-K through second, have access to a software program that has a wealth of resources aligned to the state standards called walkabouts that actually already have lessons already created that have to do with physical movement aligned to the standards. We're very appreciative of the passing of the 214 referendum for sales tax option, which in Anderson County had added a penny, and that penny went to for a couple of things. The first thing is it would pay down 20% of debt service for all 5 school districts. But then it also provided funding for capital maintenance improvement. And so for Anderson School Districts 3, 4, and 5, a big part of the money that we're receiving is going towards a career center, which all 3 of us desperately needed. And it's called the Anderson Institute of Technology. For the past 2 years, we've been very busy since the passing of the referendum in the design and the determination of what programs need to be in that facility. Because the whole impetus really for this career center is to be a game changer for our students, but really to be able to provide the workforce in Anderson County and in the upstate with graduates that have the skills to go directly into the workforce. So we've hired our director, Dr. Bob Couch. He comes with a tremendous resume in the area of CATE and technology education. He's been over the construction of a career center and the operation of a career center. He's been at the State Department of Education, just comes with a wealth of experience. And he's already busy at work. He started July 1, beginning those collaborative partnerships, because it's very important to us that the classroom mirrors what a graduate will see in the workplace. So conversations with local business and industry to ensure that that manufacturing classroom looks like what they're going to see when they go to a Michelin or a Bosch or a TTI. So at this point, in addition to the hiring of the director in Anderson 5, they've actually started the demolition of Lakeside Middle School, which is where the new Career Center will have its new home. And construction should start August, September, with the next 2 years providing the time for that very technical building to be constructed. We're very thrilled with the location because it's also adjacent to Tri-County's Anderson campus, so that a student can go to our Career Center and take classes, but then if they also want to take some additional classwork or coursework at Tri-County, it's within walking distance. So there's a wonderful collaborative effort between the 3 school districts and Tri-County, and we're just very excited about that. And I think as we begin to get closer to the actual opening, the conversations, we've always had these, but there will be more of an effort to really help parents understand and students understand where the jobs are, and to be honest, where the high-paying jobs are. There's still that paradigm that every child needs to go to a 4-year school and 4-year college and get that degree. Sadly, many of our college graduates graduate and they can't find work because they don't have the skills that are necessary for where the job market is. And so we want to send the message that there's really both. You can go to the technical school and the Career Center and get a 2-year degree, and many companies will offer you further education opportunities to go back and get the 4-year. But the jobs in our community, many of them require a 2-year degree, associate degree. And so we're hopeful that we can continue that education and with parents so that they understand that this really is, you want your child to be employed and happy, successful, and have the earnings to not have to worry about making ends meet. But as I said, also have the opportunity for future learning, and they can always go back and get that additional 4-year degree. There has to be a lot of different opportunities and resources for all students. Some students can plug in, and academics is really their ticket that's going to help them graduate and move on and be successful. But for other students, they can do the academics, but what keeps them engaged in school is the arts. They're artistic visually or artistic with their voice, but that's the way that keeps them connected in education and helps them be successful and then find their passion, and they graduate and stay in the arts and enjoy that wonderful talent they have. And for other students, they may not finish high school if it wasn't for athletics. Athletics is huge, and we have over 50% of our students that are involved. We have 32 different sporting teams at the high school. And so, more than 50% of our students are engaged in athletics. And so it's a big way that keeps a student engaged and staying in education. But I also think that it's also an important way to learn some lifelong skills, to learn about teamwork, to learn about hard work, to learn about discipline, perseverance, humility. There are many lessons you learn on the field, and you learn from your coaches. And I just was at a wonderful training that PlaySafe did for our coaches and coaches in Anderson County. And I said to my coaches, I said, you know, you do something not for the money. You do it because you're passionate and you want to make a difference for kids. But you're also an amazing role model that will help those students learn these life lessons that they'll carry for the rest of their life. As they make decisions and move through life with challenges, they'll go back on what they learned from their coach in terms of that hard work and dedication and positive thinking, all those things that are so important to being successful. The board directed me in June to come back in August with a prioritized list of projects that we need to get done. We had a large list that was part of the referendum, and as we know, it didn't pass. All those projects are needed. There was nothing on there that was really a want. They were needs. But the voters spoke, so we have looked at the project list, and I will be taking to the board a very short list because we have the majority of our 1-cent sales tax money that's earmarked for the new Career Center, but there's about $7.5 million that's still available that we're going to have to use on projects like new roofs at 3 of our elementary schools and HVAC replacement at 3 of our elementary schools. We also have some safety and security needs with perimeter fencing and some gating, electronic gating systems. And then the other project that is probably the biggest priority for me that is not a huge ticket item in terms of its cost, but the need is beyond so important for Townville Elementary School, and that is to provide the funding for that school community to build a new playground. That will be a recommendation that I will take to the board in August, and I'm hopeful that we can come out of that meeting with support to move towards the process. I think it would be it's important that the staff and the students are involved in what that playground looks like, and I think it can be, a very important piece of the healing process, especially in a time where the anniversary is coming back around and the trial is expected to take place late fall. This is something positive that our students and staff can look forward to and have a wonderful new playground that in addition to be ADA compliant, be age appropriate for all students, and bright shiny equipment that's safe and just a important place to go and be physically active and have that innocence of being able to go outside and play. I mean, there's lots of ways folks can get in touch with us here in Anderson 4. We have a website, anderson4.org. All of our schools have websites, and that's always a way to get information, to learn about the schools. But we have a pretty robust presence on social media. That was something that, as a superintendent, I've really taken as a priority, is to be very engaged in the schools and to share the stories. So you can certainly keep up with us on Facebook or Twitter, or just come visit a school, and we're happy to share information about the great things that are happening in our schools. There are ways to get involved if you want to volunteer or if you want to attend the superintendent, parent community council. There's lots of ways that you can stay connected and get information.